so you could share the link. Okay. They share a link to most one try now. Okay. I'm gonna share the first. I'm gonna mute that part. warm welcome to Sectadi Catholic TV on Facebook. This morning, the diocese received the news of the nomination of Very Reverend Father John Baptist Atakru as the Bishop-elect of the Catholic Diocese of Sekondi Takoradi. The diocese, which was carved from the Archdiocese of Cape Coast in the year 1969, has received the news of the appointment of the fifth bishop of the diocese. Remember, it was Bishop Eshuyan who began this diocese, followed by Bishop Charles Kweku Sam, Bishop John Martin Darko, and Bishop John Bonaventure Kofi. Now, this morning, before the announcement was made at the Star of the Sea Cathedral, yours truly went around to speak to some parishioners of the cathedral and some clergy to get their views on the meeting that was being conveyed by the Chargé d'Affaires at the Apostolic Nunciature. Let us now go and pick the feed, after which we shall continue with our discussions in the studio. Sectadi TV or Facebook do and pay yaba Star of the Sea Cathedral our Takoradi Sunday Chargé d'Affaires our Apostolic Nunciature our Kranen wabado besia asofo nchirama asofo nuanu na Joseph Hinara ndede na yensa kan owura Christian Donko ononye Star of the Sea Cathedral oye mu apuraba kalika so Takoradi aso pain owura Christian Donko e mo ache.
Yeah, Father.
Upon me today.
Yaminadum, Pochona.
Yes, ye. But on a pace, ya bay. Even I didn't today is easy offer home.
Yo, Father, about quite some train there. It did be a paying out the bottom suffer a soffo. I ain't a son Monday in Mete. Come on, the Naman. I'm being there. I don't mean a human. Ye bishop. Iti sisa ni hinara yenjezi inde oda some people knows the breaking onye aza sisiara hinara yendodo
yo yada owura Donko ase do de na adwentre eti information kana aka de inde de Chargé d'Affaires our Apostolic Nunciature our Kranen wa bede orbehia asofo nchirema asofo miano na agezi for our Sekondi Takoradi Diocese or Star of the Sea Cathedral or Takoradi. It says that Otis Damano. Oyen pen bebre buchebi si the Messiedi Nenido. Yes, I come on your Austin, Bisa Monsieur de ono wire soft for archery. It says Otis Damnoya and pen bebre and Bocenti Noya, almost afraid the Messiedi Otis Demi.
Medasipi, Nama in there. Yamaji Abonon Pipe, Yamdeba and Fay Biena. Odoroko. Yeah, so Pena, no, yeah, most John Bonaventure Coffee, she's all good in Cran. Okay, so, or the next age, they want to be a Yamina and Brapa, Obezimo Dame. The hotel woman there, you'll see soon. Also, you're now Babaka, some on and all some. Nahandi, yeah, Baka, it's safe for. Yadi kura ne bi to hɔ a nem de bia na yelchiso no obama wejimu odama he nti yampa boanye de ma obaka no onye asampa mfa ma hen ma asori so onkodo dama ogudo orokodo nara
Yo yebeda monjasin bebre osi oye susu de yesusu nemum nkra na nkasa ze owanya obakasa akire hene no ho na zo baka biara so yene mpa no be ya asem do zama Sekondi Takoradi Diocese yeda homase ye kwa hene nchan osomo Star of the Sea Cathedral na bibi senda na pei enda nye da ye de yesom na wa baha non krompe mi ebe na adintin wa baha na pei
medase meyizi de aya of female to mirror na yehu bisuda o diocese ha but I know say Pope prayer announcement to a room. Now at the same time or announcement and so or that announcement so way you are diocese and other Bishop Kofi Crow Accra the man no see ami moment na adwene yam da sisi ya yenja nka cha na Pope wehu dɛ yɛrebrɛ nti no ɛhyɛdidi amema adwene yɛ dɛ wɔreba announce a new bishop for the diocese.
Era si bebre embisa Mrs. Person na no so wa ba ha na pay na adwon kyerɛ we hyiezi ho nye banaze
Musu madwin kyerɛ na Mr. Pra wa kyerɛ no ana pay ya ba mass na yɛte da ma announcement the Pope na Angelus time no ɔbɛka biribi hyɛ afa secondary Takwa diocese no on time si ntino yɛkɔ fi yɛkɔbɔ boy yɛn ho na yɛasena abe ntino we are in expectation.
We are in expectation. Yɛda ase bebre yɛhwɛ Dr. Kwaso no so na adwon kyerɛ na Dr. Kwaso ana pay ya tenkra da saze dia afɛ ɔbɛ bi hyɛ hen na wa adwon kyerɛ we hyiezi ho onye banaze
Fi da na mu ne mu Africa no.
okay
Yo ya yin ka che. Si the massive on tensi. Nti ma join the ansha. E bia jama asempa yo ho ba ka che hen. Sei na ya mo ya be. Yo nti jama na ma join che bia na asempa bi ba ka che hen. Wo fa hen da sisi ho. Okay. Si na ya mo na ya be. Yo.
Monsieur Das osi ansha
there say diocese bishop in hodam na yet them na ya na obi ansusu there onam bishop wo bobuzin ntina wa friend the mbranti ya ba yebeti so oye there onyo no so ntina ba wo za bibia yebuso
yo yɛda ase bebre da wo so akyerɛ wa adwon So gone by was the mood before the announcement was made at the Star of the Sea Cathedral this morning. Now in the studio to help us understand what exactly happened this morning is Friar Vitus Mensah, the parish priest at Efiekuma Christ the King Parish. Good morning, Friar.
Thank you very much for that, Emmanuel Dauphin, the director of the Sekondi Takoradi Diocese. May I first of all use this opportunity to thank God for Sekondi Takoradi Diocese for having a shepherd now, because it's been long. We've all been praying. So if God has been grateful to us, and we have a bishop elect, then say congratulations to the diocese and congratulations to the bishop elect.
Okay. Now you were there when the announcement was made. Generally, how will you describe the feeling before you go out to pick the feeling after the announcement? How will you describe it?
Well, I believe when the see became vacant, we talk about a see becoming vacant when there's no bishop in the diocese.
Okay.
The see became vacant when I will talk about when the Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi was transferred to Accra.
Yeah.
So the see became vacant, but at the same time he was equally appointed apostolic administrator, meaning he is taking care of the diocese in the name of the Roman Father, the Roman Pontiff, or the Pope, so to say.
Okay.
So within that period, they also were hoping to see who will be the next bishop elect, so that you have all the power. Because being the apostolic administrator, although you would act, but there are certain things you can do. Because in canon law, we talk about sede vacante nihil innovatur, which means when the seat is vacant, there are certain major decisions that you cannot take. So although you may be apostolic administrator or diocesan administrator, you cannot take some major decisions. You cannot get out today and say, I want to build a cathedral. You cannot do that. So those major decisions cannot be taken. So looking at the environment, people are hoping to see this announcement for the apostolic nuncio to say, convoke priests, religious, and lay faithful. What announcement would be that important that we've been praying for a bishop? What announcement would it be if not something in that direction? So I believe when the news came, people were indeed elated to see that indeed what they were hoping for has been.
So viewers, let's go back to the cathedral to pick the reaction of the priest and the clergy and the religious and the lay faithful when the announcement was made at the start of the Sea Cathedral this morning. No, you are not using that one. No. Catch this for voice. Two. You almost say blue. You are only picking that one and then. Yes, I can. I was more secondly pro cathedral. Catechist Payna, and also know that I sang Catechist Association president. Nehemia and Penny Mesa. So, I'm trying to offended the Ruba Yati. Or repeat them, Wakaba.
Yeah, father.
Now, the Rubai Ebana, who separate the Indian of the Rubai Welcome.
Oh, you just some papa or some man, Secretary Paradise as free. Or in Miyama, Yame, or that Shahan. Now, Wamahan, Panshafa, brother me, observe can. Now here I Juma or Accra, Monkajinti. Tell you in Papa, or in Jessam.
All right, Miss Hausen.
Yo, father, Dembre, Makatki Spain, Wakano, or Yahum Casamanca Sankasa, Sunday, Yachanacher. Yeah, in Janka, Kakrai, Nayankopona, Domara, Wei, Oguanshafo, Mapa, Zamahan. Yam day, Yaminara, no way in Esu, and Yaminara Soba can one you may zaru in our. So, Yadayamiasapa.
Ebra Samuel na ewo de kan.
Asuma ba kaka wen there. Iyan kakisfo. Yemi ajiba papa. Sunday. Oye bishop elect at Father Taku. Wa bona papa wa hye hinkran me se ye ben edwuma akwantumo anyifo ayen nam afoto ode mehen me se ben edwuma yie kankara wo hen parishes ana hen stations kwale na do be edwuma mo aye enyi so ozama hen dai sesi ode enyinje ozaba ode nyamesompa ozaba ntie kakisfo de enyinje sama hen kankara wo mbribia no abesroko no prokona nam da yebenya bibi kakra at least kakisfo ko ebutu ya de na eda hwe ye homa wa yenyinje sam nti bra wa de hen bishop eleti ozama heni Yamiasi, na yesterday Nankasa, or Bacano, you may be also lose your Shamian in Yemen with 2 ways or that Shamian Yam. Tika cry with me.
Yo, father, me Mamba kind there. Mbra de Yankoponasi, na Yatotasre, Biara, Oze, no one now Honzan, now Kumani Bibia, Beshe, or your second Takra de Diocese, Jumezi, Aru in Arum, America, Sofo. America oye religious wo hienda ususimu onye late fui nara osanda wa be yaze appointment kura na ebien baba nsam kura na ebien bi besisi na moti biara e batota asre do biara bosum na yezinye no dwuma mo wa akodo pepepe na yankopon nara so wato nsupa egu diocese do
yo bushafo ye do na sibe bredo nya atwo
nyamishro
So that was the reaction of some few parishioners who are at the South of the Sea Cathedral this morning after the announcement was made. Now, before we continue the discussion, there is this important video that I want you to listen to when the announcement was made and the bishop-elect more or less gave a speech to the gathering. Let's go for that video. Then we shall continue that discussion in the studio.
Today, I'm grateful to all the bishops who have preceded me in this great diocese of Secretary. Those who are resting in peace, Most Reverend President Abdel, Most Reverend Charles Kukusa, and Most Reverend John Mark. him out at all, Most Reverend John Bonaventure, Kofi, my predecessor. In a very short time, he did so much for the diocese. He saw his selflessness. I can assure you that I will try as much as possible to imitate him. And I ask you also to continue praying. We have been praying for him. He needs God's healing blessings. So we continue to pray for him. And I know very well that the relationship that will develop between the Archdiocese of Accra and the Diocese of St. Peter will be a very lovely one. A very lovely one. I call for your prayers. I also call for your cooperation. In fact, without whom am I only show the path. I share my vision with you so that it is not my vision, it is our vision. You buy into it and we work together. I wouldn't even say you are my collaborators. It goes beyond that. You are co-responsible for this diocese. Co-responsibility. We share the responsibility of building God's church in this diocese of St. Peter. And this is what I will ask you from today to do for me in all earnestness. I cannot leave out Monsignor, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Apostolic Research in Ghana. He is the bringer of good news. How beautiful are the feet of the one who brings good news. So thank you so much, Monsignor. In a very short time, we have become very good friends and good friends already. So I express my gratitude to the bishop, Most Reverend Henry Jakuzinski, and I pray that there will be smooth cooperation between the Visitor and the Catholic Diocese of St. Peter. Without much ado, I will end here and ask for more prayers.
Okay, so that was the maiden speech by the bishop-elect of the Catholic Diocese of Sekondi Takoradi. Now, we have to understand what all this process is all about and how a bishop is elected. And as I said earlier on, to help us make sense of this announcement is Friar Vitus Mensah, the parish priest at Efiekuma Christ the King. Now, Friar Mensah, walk us through the process leading to the announcement of the bishop or the bishop-elect.
Okay. Thank you very much, Father Emmanuel. The first and the most important thing is every bishop, normally when he's in charge of the diocese,
sure,
he's supposed to have at least 3 candidates whom, based on his own observation, think that when he wouldn't be there, then these can be, they can find possible candidates from amongst them.
Okay.
So he has this that normally he'll be updating the nunciature and all this periodically, or something happens, they will open and they will see.
Okay.
But then there are few things that will be taken into consideration.
Okay.
The people that the bishop, the 3 priests, so to say, that the bishop will be thinking about. First of all, we do have to see that they are at least 35 years of age.
Okay.
That they have been ordained for in the priesthood. They are at least 5 years in priesthood.
Sure.
And then they have the qualification of license in canon law, sacred scripture, or liturgy.
Okay.
And when these have been completed, they see this in the preparation, they would want to see in that particular diocese or archdiocese, so to say, who is the best candidate that can harness the promotion of the faith, evangelization there.
Okay.
It could be candidate A on the list.
Okay.
It's very good administrative-wise, but language-wise, he will not be able to communicate with the people.
Okay.
So one has advantage A, one has a disadvantage.
Okay.
It could be B is very good and administrative, he's able to harness the people, relate well with the people. So they will look at various things that will see who, although all may be qualified in terms of ordination, in terms of academics, but there are other factors that to be looked into.
Okay.
It could be one, the relationship with the priest may not be able to help promote things well. So although he's very good, he's a good candidate, but it may not be. So a lot will be taken into consideration to see who finally meets the requirement in order to be appointed bishop. So basically, that is how the process goes. So definitely, the letters will be coming from the nunciature, which we have called subsecreto, which means whichever letter you receive, normally in 2 envelopes. So you will seal the first one, put in the second one. You are not supposed to let anyone know, or maybe I've gotten a letter asking me who is Emmanuel, Father Emmanuel Dolphin.
Yeah.
Then I have to write what I know about him, weaknesses, strengths, opportunities. I have to write all I know about him. And based on this, they have to see and then collect all of them together. So some will go to some clergy, some lay people, even it could be some bishops. So it depends. And then when all these have been collected, then they will see at the end of the day, based on the need, everything ends again, the nunciature, then it goes to the Roman Curia, in our case, Propaganda Fide, and then based on that, a recommendation will be things we send to the Holy Father, and only the Holy Father has a prerogative to nominate a bishop, so to say.
Okay. In our case, our Bishop Kofi was our bishop. Then he was nominated to be the Archbishop of Accra.
Yes.
And we've waited since 2019 till now. What could account for this long break?
Well, usually I'll say there are many factors that the Holy See will take into consideration.
Okay.
It could be looking at the situation when before Most Reverend Bonaventure Kofi was made Apostolic Administrator.
Sure.
Could be there are certain urgent things he was attending to.
Okay.
And get him out of the See immediately will not be helpful.
Okay.
And you will bear with me that when he was appointed, he had even announced our the 50th anniversary celebration.
Sure.
So all the plans, things put in place. If you're to get, let's say, a diocesan administrator, who knows the preparation things may not even go as he has envisaged.
Okay.
So it was prudent, so to say. I wouldn't know the mind of the Holy See, but it says it's so prudent to say that he is appointed the administrator to see to it that indeed at least the anniversary and then he already be in the See, things would have been. But the main reason why it means that one we have to leave it to the Holy See, who knows best, for which we had to wait a little bit. And along the line, it became the situation that the Apostolic Administrator, in the person of Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi, was indisposed, and therefore the need for and then he was Very Reverend Father John Baptist Atakru, who became the Apostolic Administrator. I believe viewers may be asking what is the difference between.
So I was about to ask that question.
Diocesan Administrator and
Apostolic Administrator. Sure.
When it comes to the Diocesan Administrator, we're talking about when the See becomes vacant, the College of Consultors have within about 8 days to, first of all, they have to communicate the vacancy of the See to the Holy Father, knowing that this is what has happened. The vacancy could be the person is late or something has happened and the person cannot occupy the See. So when that happens, they have to meet and then they elect one of them to be the assistant administrator. So which means from the College of Consultors, someone is elected who governs the diocese. So he is diocesan administrator. On the contrary, Apostolic Administrator is an appointment from the Holy Father. So he is taking care of the diocese in the name of the Holy Father. That is why the title Apostolic Administrator. So you are administrating, but in whose name? In the name of the Holy Father. So that is the basic difference between the two.
Thank you very much for clarifying matters. For just another clarification, I also seek. You know, when now Reverend Monsignor Atakru was appointed the Apostolic Administrator, we were calling him Very Reverend. Now this morning at the announcement, we heard the Sazedi affair mention Reverend Monsignor. Why that also?
Yes, the most important thing is Very Reverend Father John Baptist Atakru, when he was made Apostolic Administrator, by that title, he couldn't use Monsignor because bishop-elect automatically has the title. By virtue of that appointment, he has Monsignor. But since he was not bishop-elect, that is why he still maintained the title Very Reverend Father. But now this morning, as you said, before the announcement, when the Shazid Affair has said, introducing, they say, very Monsignor, then I say, well, that is, he has committed himself, or let's maybe it would have been a mistake if another candidate was appointed. So, by virtue of the appointment, automatically the person would have to become a Monsignor.
Okay. Now, gathered at the cathedral, the announcement has been made. What next?
At the moment, the bishop-elect, in the person of Monsignor John Baptist Atakru, he has within 3 months to be consecrated a bishop. And having been consecrated, per the announcement, he has within 4 months to take what they call canonical possession. Which means the bull of his appointment on that day, maybe in the cathedral, before the College of Consultors, it has to be read. And then he will take canonical possession. If he does not do it and the time were to elapse, that becomes a canonical issue. But I believe within 3 months, he has to be consecrated a bishop, and after which he will take canonical possession.
Now, within that period, how do we address him, and what is his role in the diocese now?
Well, at the moment, he's the apostolic administrator. And then, which means he was governing the diocese in the name of the bishop. He would continue the role as it is, because normally, when you have an administrator, he would continue until the bishop-elect comes. But he happens to be the same person, so he will carry that role. But definitely still, he cannot carry those major decisions that a diocesan bishop would have to take. So those ones, he still has that little limitation until after his consecration, and it is canonical possession of the diocese. So within this period, it is important that I believe he would have to think about his motto. Because his coat of arms and motto is very, very important, because that gives vision of how he intends, to rule the diocese.
Let me give you the opportunity to educate us more on the motto and the coat of arms. What do they do in terms of evangelizing and the mission for the diocese, for every bishop? What do they represent?
Well, because every bishop will see, I have a particular vision or certain saying from the scripture that is something that guides me about how I go about things. Because first, most Reverend Bonaventure had Duke in Alto cast into the deep, which was about Peter's situation. So he believed that could be, if I were to understand, like within the diocese, he wanted to enter every corner, deep into it, to know that he's able to reach out to the people. And now in Accra, I think he has gone with another motto, which I believe is a way by which they're able to harness resources. So we have to see our bishop-elect, what is going to be his motto, and within the coat of arms, because the symbols speak a lot. Because some religious would add part of their symbols to it, and then so it depends on, we have to see the coat of arms which will be coming with, and what will be the explanation to the symbols within it, because these help equally to know what is the vision of the bishop-elect, who, when he takes canonical possession, becomes the bishop of the diocese. What vision he has, or what is governance, what are we to expect? Because based on that, some of us will be asking questions, but in this, is he following the vision, or is he veering off the way? Things become very clear when he's able to see the motto and then the coat of arms.
You keep mentioning governance. For the sake of our viewers and listeners, in the mind of the church, what is the role of the diocesan bishop, and who is he?
The diocesan bishop, first of all, we say he is a successor of the apostles. So in terms of governance in the church, you say all the three arms of government are fused in one person. Because you have the Latin one. I didn't want to use that. I say no. To executive power, the judicial power, and the legislative power. So the bishop is the first judge of the diocese. In terms of lawmaking, he is the lawmaker in the diocese. And then he has the executive power. There's the appointment and so on. He has the right to do all these things. But there are some areas that are their delegations. When it comes to the judiciary, like he's supposed to have a tribunal, so he delegates most of this function to the tribunal to do. But ordinarily, all these three powers, he has it to rule in the name of the church.
Oh, okay.
But always, he has to do, although every diocese is autonomous but not independent. So always subject to the Roman Pontiff, who is the head of the College of Bishops.
Okay. Every diocese is autonomous but not independent. Go further than
well, so we say every diocese is autonomous because if you talk about Sekondi Takoradi diocese, in terms of administration and all these things, let's say another bishop from another diocese cannot come and dictate and say how do you rule. So within this diocese, let's say our bishop-elect, Monsignor John Baptist Atakru, when he will take another position, become Bishop Atakru, he has to decide and say within this diocese, which are the priests I want to send to these parishes and so on. What is the vision I have for the institution, health, and so on. He has the right to do so. He has the autonomy to do that which, in the mind of the church, is not contradicting the canon law. That is the universal law of the church. He's able to do so. Then, which means within the diocese, he's able to do that. He cannot just get up and go to another diocese and say, because I'm a bishop, I've come here to do this. He will need the permission of a bishop in another diocese to carry out even ordinary functions that you and myself, we are priests. Let's say to confess, or you may have to do it, but it's prudent that you talk about among. So the autonomy is there. Independent means I do everything. I care less about what other people are thinking about, what the Roman Pontiff is saying in the church.
Oh, it doesn't happen that way.
You cannot say you are independent. You cannot be, because it's a college together. So together, how is the vision of the church that we all participate in the one mission of Christ? So independence in the church can be very dangerous.
Okay. Viewers, gradually as the discussion is getting interesting, we are about wrapping up the discussion. But before we go, let me give Friar Vitus the chance to tell us any other useful information that he has for us.
Well, at this moment now, it is important that whilst we're waiting for within 3 months, which can be before or at least the latest, I believe the bishop-elects will now take the opportunity now to see, maybe he may go around, he may see how is he going to form his College of Consultants, the Presbyteral Council, what are the things to put in place. So I believe this will be the major things you may have to be looking into, because that would help him, because if you are taking full charge and do everything, then it's important you have the right people by your side to guide you, advise you, and see the way forward. So I believe within this period, and it's also a moment whereby you would have to pray more. Because when he was appointed the Apostolic Administrator, he did say we are not collaborators, but co-responsible. And today again, he made emphasis that we are all co-responsible. So I believe already I'm seeing some clear indicators that say that each one would have to be responsible for wherever he is for the growth and the development of the diocese. And looking at Sekondi Takoradi diocese, as you said in your introduction, that from 1969, we just celebrated 50th anniversary not long ago. It means we have a lot to do, and the responsibility of everybody will help the diocese to move forward.
Thank you very much. Responsibility of everybody will help the diocese to move forward. These are the final words of our brother Friar Vitus Mensah, the parish priest at Christ the King Parish, Effiokuma. You've been discussing the latest development in the diocese, the nomination of Reverend Monsignor John Baptist Atakru as the bishop-elect of the Catholic Diocese of Sekondi Takoradi. Remember, this diocese was carved from the Archdiocese of Cape Coast in the year 1969. We have come a long way, and today we have received the news of the nomination of the 5th bishop of this diocese. Let us keep him in our prayers. To come away again with another educative and religious program on Sectadi Catholic TV. Remember to subscribe to the channel and share the content with the people around you. Keep faith alive, and remember, truly Catholic, divinely inspired. Bye-bye.
Not tomorrow. Masamiti seminyaza tumaraka, Masamiti seminyano matumaraka, Masamiti